So do you like it here? You want to stay on?
So I'm not sure this place is a very good place or bad place, but at least it's a better place for me to practice than Upanishad.
What is it?
Absolutely a better place for me to practice than Upanishad.
Yeah. I asked you, you have to make a decision. If you are going to ordain here with me, I mean the first 5 years, you have to stay. Yeah.
Made a decision.
Yeah, you have to make a decision. Yeah. Unless you disrobe, then you don't have to stay. But what is our life? Because that is the normal routine in the Dhamma Youth sect. Yeah, I mean, any monk. Yeah, I mean, it is brought down from the Lord Buddha. Any monk who ordains, I mean, should stay for the first 5 years. Yeah, with his teacher where he ordained. Carlos is okay with that, or? Just that some because ordain, and then after 3 months they go all over Thailand. I'm bothering. Yeah. I have not learned the basic rules how to behave as a monk. It is not easy, I mean, it slowly grinds down, I mean, you have to change every way, yeah. I mean, you've been samanera, so I mean, for you it is not so much different, but for Carlos it will be quite different, yeah. I mean, how to handle, how to approach, I mean, how to deal with this thing or that thing, yeah. So it's quite a change, yeah. Yeah. ตอนเช้าเห็นเด็กหน่อยไหมเห็นเด็ก1 ขวบไหมเห็นจ้ะน่ารักนะชาติหน้าจะเป็นของเราจะเป็นเหมือนกันนะเมื่อไม่ได้หาทางออกคิดให้ดีๆหน่อยนะชาติหน้าเมื่อเกิดเป็นมนุษย์นะก็ต้องฝึกเดินฝึกพูดฝึกเขียนฝึกอ่านฝึกคิดนะถึงอายุ18 ปีนะนานไหม18 ปีถึงใช้ร่างกายนี้ได้เต็มที่นะ แล้วใช้ได้กี่ปี30 ปีนะประมาณอายุ45ก็50นะมันร่างกายนี้ก็เสริมลงไปมนุษยชาติเนี่ยแต่มนุษยชาติสำคัญมากเพราะว่านี่เป็นทางออกง่ายที่สุดนะสำหรับพระพุทธเจ้าก็บอกว่านะเมื่อเป็นมนุษย์นะหาทางออกง่ายที่สุดเพราะว่าสาเหตุใดเพราะว่าก็เห็นทุกข์กับสุขพอๆกันนะคนไหนที่มีสุขมากนะก็มันไม่ได้หาทางออกทำไมเมื่อมีความสุขตลอดนะก็เมื่อมีความสุขเยอะนะหาทางออกทำไมและคนไหนที่มีทุกข์มากนะก็หาทางออกก็ไม่เหมือนกันไม่ได้นะเข้าใจไหมนะมนุษยชาติสำคัญนะเป็นทางออกง่ายที่สุดนะแต่มันไม่ใช่ง่ายนะแต่มันยังมนุษยชาติก็เป็นภูมิหนึ่งที่ง่ายที่สุดที่หาทางออกได้มันคิดให้ดีหน่อยนะพยายามหน่อยเมื่อไม่อยากตกนรกนะเมื่อไม่อยากเกิดอีกแล้วนะก็ต้องหาทางออกนะและทางออกเป็นยังไงศีลและของเราอยู่ที่วัดนะศีล 8นะศีล 8ก็พอแล้วนะ สำหรับเมชีนะสำหรับเมชีก็ยอมก่อศีล 8ก็พอแล้วเมชีเกียวก็ตรัสรู้ได้นะศีล 8นะ ไม่ต้องหาศีล227นะเมื่ออยู่ที่วัดไม่ได้ทำอะไรไม่ได้ติดโลกนะมันก็หาทางออกได้ทำให้จิตมันสงบนะอยู่ในสมาธิคนไหนที่ทำได้นะอยู่ในอัปปนาสมาธิลึกๆนะมันถึงทั้งจักรวาลทั้งร่างกายทั้งจักรวาลก็หายไปนะมันจะเห็นความอัศจรรย์ของจิตเนี่ยมันจิตนะอัศจรรย์ของจิตนะมันสำคัญนะเมื่อเห็นนี้นะทั้งโลกก็หายไปทั้งร่างกายก็หายไปแต่ยังมีอะไรที่อยู่นะมันไม่ใช่หายไปศูนย์นี้นะไม่ใช่หายไปทั้งหมดนะก็มีอะไรที่เหลือนะพระพุทธเจ้าก็เป็นในช่วงนั้นนะก็เรียกว่านิพพานนะนิพพานไม่ศูนย์เปล่านะของเขาต้องเมื่อเขาไปสมาธิลึกๆเนะหรืออัปปนาสมาธิมันจะเห็นชัดๆนะและคนที่เข้าไปนะแล้วออกไปไม่อยากกลับมาเพราะว่านั้นมันปุ้นวายที่นี่นะมันจะเห็นชัดๆนะแต่ของเรายังไม่เห็นชัดนะยังไม่ได้เห็นทุกข์นะทุกข์เป็นอริยสัจที่หนึ่งทุกขังอริยสัจจักนะทุกข์เป็นอริยสัจที่หนึ่งเมื่อยังไม่ได้เห็นทุกข์พอก็มันความพยายามที่หาทางออกก็มันไม่พอนะต้องเห็นทุกข์ชัดๆนะทุกสิ่งทุกอย่างเวลาเดินก็เห็นทุกเวลาเดินขึ้นมานะตอนเช้าเดินขึ้นมานะมันไม่อยากลุกนะมันจะเห็นทุกเมื่ออยู่เข้าก็เห็นทุกเมื่อปวดขี้ก็เห็นทุกนะเมื่ออยู่น้ำก็เห็นทุกทั้งร่างกายเนี่ยยังไม่ได้พูดถึงเรื่องทุกที่อยู่ในจิตใจเรื่องนี้ก็ไม่พอใจเรื่องโน้นก็ไม่พอใจอยากได้นี่ก็เป็นทุกข์อยากได้โน้นก็ไม่เป็นทุกข์นะไม่อยากพบนี่ก็เป็นทุกข์ไม่อยากพบโน้นก็เป็นทุกข์นะเมื่อเห็นชัดๆทุกวันของเราก็ดูได้นะทุกวันตอนเย็นก็ระลึกวันเกิดอะไรขึ้นในวันนี้นะเกิดอะไรขึ้นนะเจอคนนี้ก็มันไม่ทุกข์ใจเจออากาศนี้ก็ทุกข์ใจนะเนี่ยมันจะเห็นทุกข์ชัดขึ้นนะเมื่อเห็นทุกข์ชัดขึ้นนะก็จะมีความพยายามที่หาทางออกได้เนี่ยเราต้องเข้าใจนะเพราะว่าของเราส่วนมากของเรามันบอกว่านะได้ยินมาตอนเช้านะไม่อยากเกิดแต่ไม่ได้ทำอะไรมันจะมาได้ยังไงนะมันก็ต้องพยายามต้องทำให้ใจสงบนะรักษาศีลทำให้ใจสงบนะเข้าสู่สมาธิเวลาออกสมาธิก็พิจารณาดูร่างกายภายในภายนอกนะดูละเอียดแล้วทิ้งทั้งหมดจัดทุกส่วนของร่างกายนะทุกส่วนนั่นและบางต้องนะนั่นเลยเห็นชัดๆนั่นมันอะไรก็ร่างกายนะนี่มันเป็นโปอดนี่เป็นหัวใจนี่เป็นสมองนี่เป็นกระดูกนี่เป็นเนื้อนี่เป็นเส้นนี่เป็นเอ็นนี่เป็นกระดูกนั่นมันอะไรเป็นร่างกายเนี่ยในของเราติดกับร่างกายนี้ทำไมนะเพราะว่าร่างกายนี้ก็ให้แต่ทุกอันเดียวนะของเรายังไม่ได้พิจารณาดูละเอียดนะของเราคิดว่าน้ำความสุขเกิดในร่างกายไม่ใช่นะเมื่ออยู่ข้าวก็เป็นทุกข์นะเมื่อกินข้าวก็เป็นของเราคิดว่าเป็นสุขนะมันดูผิดแล้วนะไม่ใช่สุขนะ เป็นวิธีระบายทุกข์นะของเราคิดว่าเมื่อไม่มีทุกข์ก็เป็นสุขนะแต่สุขแท้จริงที่เกิดอยู่ในใจเมื่อเข้าสู่สมาธิก็เชื่อสุขแท้จริงนะที่ไม่เกี่ยวข้องกับอะไรนะไม่ต้องมีนี่ไม่ต้องมีโน่นมันไม่สุขนะมันที่อยู่ในใจของเรามันก็พยายามหาดูมันพิจารณาดูร่างกายนี่อะไรติดกับอะไรติดกับความสวยงามแล้วดูอสุภังนะเมื่อเปิดดูมันจะเห็นความเกลียดนะความสกปรกนะมันจะเกลียดมันเกลียดร่างกายเนี่ยมันของเรานะมันดูเด่นนะทั้งชีวิตก็หาที่ความสุขนะเมื่อทำอันนี้ก็มีความสุขเมื่อทำอันโน้นก็มีความสุขเมื่อทำอันโน้นก็มีความสุขนะ เดี๋ยวนี้ก็ต้องหาได้ความนะความที่ไม่สวยงามนะความที่ในอสุภะนะดูร่างกายละเอียดนะดูให้ชัดเจนนะมันจะติดอะไรนะจะติดกับแขนจะติดกับหัวใจจะติดกับปอดแล้วจะติดกับสมองก็กระดูกแล้วอะไรนะแล้วผิวหนังนะออกผิวหนังนะมันไม่มีอะไรสวยงามภายในนะมันช่วงแรกก็อยากอ้วกนะมันเห็นนะว่านี่บางคนก็เมื่อเห็นเลือดตัวเองนะมันล้มแล้วนะแล้วของเขาก็เห็นร่างกายเปิดดูร่างกายนี่ก็มันเปิดรถยนต์นะมันอะไรเนี่ยโอเคนี่โน่นนะเมื่อไปหาหมอผ่าตัดนะก็เปิดมันวิทยาศาสตร์ก็เปิดรถยนต์นะก็ดูนี่นี่ไม่ถูกนะก็ต้องเปลี่ยนนี่ต้องสลับนี่ต้องสลับโน่นนะร่างกายก็เหมือนกันนะต้องพิจารณาดูอสุภะสุพังถึงไม่เห็นความสวยงามของร่างกายนี้ความสวยงามและความน่าเกลียดมันอยู่ในร่างกายนี้ความโกรธความโลภนะมันติดในร่างกายนี้ต้องสู้ต้องฟัดกันกับกิเลสในที่ปอกเขานะสวยงามนี่สบายนั่นมันอะไรสบายนะมันอะไรสบายดีนะเมื่อของเราไม่อยากเกิดนะมันก็ต้องพิจารณาดูละเอียดเรานะช่วงแรกที่เห็นอยู่ร่างกายไม่ใช่เรานะและอันอื่นเมื่อไม่ติดนะเมื่อเชื่อพระพุทธเจ้าก็มีสวรรค์และมีคนที่สวรรค์และมีนรกและมีคนที่นรกนะและมีบาปและมีบุญนะเมื่อเชื่ออันนี้และของเราก็เห็นอยู่ร่างกายไม่ใช่เรานะมันเข้าสู่โสดาปันได้เข้าใจไหมและโสดาปันก็เป็นชุดแรกนะมันที่ออกทางได้นะหลังจากนี้ก็เช็ดชาตินะยันมากที่สุดนะเช็ดชาตินะมันที่เกิดอีกแต่ไม่ได้เกิดในนรกนะเกิดในสวรรค์และมนุษยชาติก็ไม่มันดูสินะดูชีวิตของเขานะมันจะปล่อยมากนะที่ของเขาไม่ได้พอใจนะไม่พอใจเจอกับชีวิตนี้นะกับชาตินี้นี่ก็ไม่พอใจน้องก็ไม่พอใจนะนี่ต้องทำอันนี้นะและของเขาต้องทำงานหนักนะเพื่อร่างกายนี้นะส่วนมากก็ชาวบ้านก็ทำงานนะทำงาน8 ชั่วโมงวันละ8 ชั่วโมงบางคนก็10 ชั่วโมงนะมันก็ทำงานนะเพื่อมีที่อาศัยเพื่อมีเสื้อผ้าเพื่อมียากินเพื่อมีอาหารการกินนะแล้วของเขาก็สบายอยู่นะเพราะว่าชาวบ้านดูแลเรานะความกตัญญูนะกับชาวบ้านที่ทำให้เรานะดูจิตของเราได้พยายามหน่อยนะคิดบ่อยๆนะคิดเรื่องความตายบ่อยนะของเราจะตายนะมันเวลาจะอะไรนะเมื่อร่างกายนี้ก็ตายจะไปที่ไหนอยากเกิดอีกนะถามตัวเองทุกวันอยากเกิดอีกเมื่อไม่อยากเกิดอีกก็ต้องพยายามหน่อยต้องเพิ่มอีก1 ชั่วโมงต้องเพิ่มอีก2 ชั่วโมงนะเนี่ยและที่พิจารณาร่างกายสำคัญที่สุดนะช่วงแรกก็เห็นร่างกายนี้ก็มันไม่ใช่เรานะหลังจากนี้อสุภะอสุพังเต็มที่นะเพราะว่าความโกรธความโลภนะความที่ชอบและที่ไม่ชอบนะจิตกับร่างกายนี้มันไม่เกี่ยวกับจิตใจนะจิตทุกสิ่งทุกอย่างเวลาเห็นนะความโลภนะมันติดกับร่างกายนี้นะความโกรธก็ติดกับร่างกายนี้นี่ต้องเข้าใจนะหลังจากนี้ก็เข้าสู่พระอนาคาก็ได้นะหลังจากนี้ก็ง่ายขึ้นเพราะว่าไม่ได้เกิดในมนุษยชาติไม่ได้เกิดในสวรรค์เนาะอยู่ในภูมิหาภูมินะถึงนิพพานได้เข้าใจไหมน้องคิดบ่อยๆนะหลวงพ่อเนี่ยเมื่อหลวงพ่อเหนื่อยนะก็เหมือนกันบางทีก็เหนื่อยไม่อยากภาวนาแล้วหลวงพ่อก็ถามด้วยอยากเกิดอีกไหมไม่โอเคต้องภาวนาอีกเนี่ยต้องฝัดนะต้องสู้กันนะเมื่อไม่อยากเกิดก็ต้องสู้กันถึงรู้นะไม่อยากเกิดไม่ได้เกิดอีกนะเข้าใจเดี๋ยวนี้ก็เป็นภาษาอังกฤษนอกจากมีคำถามไหม ยังไม่มีนะพยายามนะชาตินี้ก็ต้องเป็นชาติสุดท้ายนะของเรานะโอเคไปได้แล้ว
แบมก็ไม่อยากถามหลวงพ่อเจ้าค่ะ
อะไร
มันแค่ว่าแบมนี่เฉยมันยังไม่ถึงลึกอ่ะให้มันลึกก่อนค่อยถามเจ้าค่ะ
ก็รู้อยู่นะแต่เมื่อพิจารณาร่างกายนะมันความถามก็ขึ้นมานะพิจารณาเริ่มน้อยนะ1 ชั่วโมง 2 ชั่วโมงนะ
ก็ตอนนี้กำลังพิจารณาก่อนตายอยู่ตายเป็นยังไงมันจะไปไหนกำลัง
แล้วดูนะเวลาดูนะหลับตานะแล้วดูความตายนะอะไรจะออกก่อนนะอะไรจะออกทีหลังนะแล้วดูนะมันความตายเป็นยังไงนะดูเป็นศพนะมันเงานะมันนั่นอะไรนะแล้วสุดท้ายก็เหลือแต่กระดูกนะดูละเอียดนะมันจะเบื่อ
นะว่ามันจะมาอยู่อะไรตรงนี้อยู่กับไอ้ป่าช้าผีดิบ
โอเคYeah, it's not easy. Yeah. I mean, when we see these young kids, that come to the monastery. Today we saw just 1 year old. We should remind ourselves, if we don't put any effort in our practice, sooner or later we will be born, in the same form. Yeah. Doesn't matter if we are female or male, yeah. We will be born, as this little child, yeah, and then we learn to walk, yeah. We was just learning to walk, yeah. Then we learn to talk. Then we go to school, yeah. Learn how to read, learn how to write, and learn how to think, yeah. And it takes us 18 years. 18 years of our life. 18 years is a long time, isn't it? Yeah? Until this body is complete, yeah? Until we have complete power over this body and can use it, to whatever we want to do with our life, yeah? And then 30 years later, it starts to break apart, yeah? This doesn't work, that doesn't work, this needs to be replaced, that needs to be replaced, yeah? And then, then we have 30 years, of waiting, for our death to come, yeah? And this is something that we should remind ourselves, yeah? Because if we don't find a way out in this life, yeah? I mean, the next life will come 100%, yeah? Maybe not as a human being, yeah? So we are thrown off the path, yeah? If we are not a human being, we are thrown off the path, yeah? Yeah, if we are born in the heavenly realm, we still have connection, to the Dhamma, that is preached, somewhere in the world, yeah. If there is Dhamma, yeah. If there is no Dhamma, then we don't have. There are times where there is no Dhamma in the world, yeah, according to the Lord Buddha. But then at the moment there is Dhamma, yeah. Then we don't have any access to Dhamma, yeah. Or if we're thrown in the lower realms, we don't have access, yeah. We forget everything, and anger will arise because we are not happy with these lower realms. We are not happy, as an animal, or we are not happy as a ghost or a hungry ghost, or we're not, especially we're not happy when we go to hell, yeah. And then a lot of anger comes up, and when we are born again, this will, will be predominant in our life, yeah? So we have to overcome this first, before we can start to look for the Dhamma again, yeah? So be careful, The Lord Buddha also said, the human life, there is no more perfect, there is no more perfect realm than the human life, yeah? For looking for the way out. Because if we don't find the way out in this life, we have to look for how many lives, yeah? We don't know, yeah? Because we get sidetracked. Think about your life, yeah? You wanted to do something and you got sidetracked, yeah? And then after 5 years you remember, I wanted to do this, yeah? And this happens, with 1 life and 2 lives and 3 lives, you get sidetracked until we find back to the Dhamma, yeah? Until we find to the way out, yeah? So the human life, don't waste your human life, because it is so precious. Yeah? It is really precious, and if we have the opportunity here to be in a monastery, or something similar, where we can devote all our time, to the practice, of practicing, practicing and keeping the 5 precepts, practicing samadhi and practicing wisdom, That is the best way where we can find a way out. So we should use it. We should use the time very wisely, and put a lot of effort. I mean, if you and it happens, it happens every time. If we sometimes we get tired because the fight is, so. I mean, it drags on and it drags on, and we don't see any results. We should ask ourselves, the moment we don't have the energy to fight anymore, do you want to be born again? I mean, if the answer to this is clear, I mean, this gives us a motivation, to continue with the fight, to continue to. I mean, at least that was for me. I mean, whenever I was tired, I said, let's have a break. And then I asked myself, do you want to be born again? No? Okay, then go on. do 1 hour more, do 2 hours more, do until you really can't do it anymore, until you fall asleep. This is the way out to practice, to find the way out. And we find it out, when we are here in the monastery, being as a lay person or as a métier, you respect the 8 precepts, you keep the 8 precepts, and we as monks, as a samanen, you keep the 10 precepts, and we as monks keep the 220 rules, And that's it, and then we don't fiddle around with it, we don't try to find ways, how to avoid, keeping these precepts, or keeping the rules. So then this subject is gone. And then we have to fight. Then we have to investigate the body. First we go into samadhi until everything is quiet. Until the mind is completely quiet. There's no thoughts coming up, and there's no memory coming up. We have to see this. I mean, without this, without samadhi, I mean, we cannot find a way out. We have to go into samadhi. No matter how long it is, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 2 hours. The longer the better. This leaves an imprint in our heart. That we know there's all these things that we constantly are constantly attracted or attracted to and don't like. I mean, these things don't matter if we are in samadhi. We have to get this imprint. This imprint is very important, to get this imprint in our heart, to know, there is a space, or there's a room where we can rest, where we can completely rest, where there is no future, where we don't have to think about the future, where we don't have to think about the past, where there is no sorrow, where there is no pain, where there's nothing, I mean, there's just normally peacefulness or stillness or happiness or joy, This leaves an imprint, because that's what we were actually looking for in our life by doing this and by doing that, We wanted to find happiness. We wanted to find joy, And we always, we found a little bit of joy and then it was gone, It's just like running all after these soap bubbles, I mean, they're so nice, the moment we come close to it, we touch it, boop, it's gone, And then we run after the next, and we run after the next. All our life we were running after all these nice soap operas, or sometimes dreams, I wanted to fill my dream. I wanted to fill this dream, or I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that. In the moment we got it, boop, it's gone, And then we had to find another one, And then keeping going on. But in the meantime, we found so much dukkha, And dukkha is the first noble truth. If we really do not understand dukkha, if we really don't see dukkha in our daily life, and it starts with the morning, at 3 o'clock in the morning you wake up, too tired, I don't want to get up. That is already the first start of dukkha. I don't want to practice. It's another form of dukkha. When we are hungry, it's of another form of dukkha. But it's mostly dukkha of the body, yeah? when we need to go to the toilet, it's dukkha, yeah? Presses on, yeah? And this body gives us nothing but dukkha, yeah? I mean, we are fooled by thinking that this body gives us any sukha, yeah? Any happiness. Yeah? All what we do is, when we have dukkha, when we are hungry, then we eat, yeah? And then the non-appearance or not being dukkha, I mean, we confuse with being, that being happiness, yeah? When we eat to the full, and then we okay, yeah, happy. No, we are not happy. That is the normal state of the body. Yeah? And then it gets hungry again, then we have to eat again. Or it gets thirsty, and then we have to drink again, and so on, and so on. We constantly have to take care of this body for 80 years, or 100 years, or 60 years, however old we get. Yeah? You have to take constant care. Yeah, I mean, there's not a day where we don't take care of this body. Yeah? So we are constantly concerned about this body. In this concern, we have to relieve ourselves of this concern. So when we go into Samadhi, we are not concerned about the body, we are not concerned about the future, we are not concerned about the past. Yeah? Everything, stays there. It's a room where we can rest. Yeah? It is the glass house where we can see still the world that is still outside. Yeah? I mean, the feelings are far away, and everything is far away. Yeah? And what we hear is far away. Yeah? Because we have our eyes closed, this is also, there's nothing. Yeah? And then we come out, and then, I mean, if you stayed long enough in Samadhi, then, I mean, it is like a bombardment of the senses, yeah? And we come out of Samadhi, and yeah? And the deeper we go into Samadhi, yeah? We haven't not yet reached Appana Samadhi, but it gets very, very still, yeah? And then when we stay there for a long time, and then we come out, I mean, it feels like you're being in a world war, between two lines, yeah, and everybody shoots at you, yeah. It's a senses that bombards us constantly. But how can we notice that if we don't get into a state where we can rest and where the senses don't bombard us, yeah? And that, as I said before, that leaves an imprint in the heart. If we can do it, then we go into Appana Samadhi. I mean, until everything disappears. Yeah? Before that, the body starts to disappear. Slowly disappears, the senses slowly disappears, everything, goes further and further and further away. Yeah? Until we join with the knowingness, and then everything has disappeared. The body has disappeared, this whole universe has disappeared. Yeah? And this is, as I said before, or Lungta Mahaprabhu said, it is the Nibbana of the little man. It is something that we can enter for a certain amount of time. Yeah? When we come out, I mean, we are still in the same cycle of death and birth. Yeah, it is, not a permanent solution. Yeah? Not like the Arahant who is permanently in Nibbana. But we can experience it, yeah? And when we experience it, yeah, I mean, when we come out, yeah, I mean, we see how things evolve, yeah, how this whole world is built up, how this whole universe is built up. I mean, that also leaves an imprint, yeah. If we can do it, if we can put our effort into it, to stop really thinking and to stop all these memories, yeah, and are only interested, in the breath or in the Buddha, until the Buddha, becomes. We cannot even think one Buddha anymore, or until the breath stops, and then we jump to this knowingness, yeah? And then we see it, and then we can see it, yeah? And when we are long enough, some people are just for a second, I mean, it leaves a little imprint. But some people, some people can stay there for hours, When they come out, they see how this world evolves, yeah? The first time you come out, you don't know who you are, where you are, why you are in this situation. Yeah? And then through your memory, and then you see how the I, how this self is created through memories and through thoughts. Yeah, I mean, they connect each other. Yeah, and through the feeling, through the senses, they connect each other, and then suddenly, after a few minutes, you are back to the self, and you forgot all about it. Yeah. And then you live in this self, yeah, It's just like people, I mean, when they play a video game, as long as they don't open the game, I mean, it's just nothing, yeah? But then the moment, they really immerse themselves into the game, yeah? Into this video game. And it is very similar, yeah? When you get immersed in the video game, or when you get immersed in this life, yeah? That's why it is really advantage if we can put ourselves, to the effort, of reaching Appana Samadhi. It is possible for every one of us, yeah, but it takes a lot. It might take a long time, yeah, for us. First of all, we need to go into Samadhi often, yeah. When we come out of Samadhi, we go back into it. But that doesn't help us, it's just something, it imprints on our heart and gives us motivation to find the way out, yeah. So the other thing is panya, wisdom, developing wisdom. And then we start with the investigation of the body. First we have to see, that this body is a mess, and that all our life we have to look after this body, yeah. We have to take care of this body from the morning to the evening, yeah. We have to relieve it, we have to relieve it of the urine, we have to relieve it of the shit, we have to eat, we have to sleep, Aren't you sick of it? Huh? Aren't you yet sick of it? No? Yeah, because we don't know anything else. Yeah? If we don't know anything else, I mean, yes, it is normal to us, yeah? Because we are thrown into this mess, what we call a human life, and we don't know anything else, so we can't even imagine. That's why I said it is important, to have this imprint of Samadhi or the imprint of Appana Samadhi, where we can see all these things. And that gives us encouragement to practice. So we have to dissect this body, see what it is for, yeah? First of all, we look at birth, we look at, how long it takes us, to be able to use this body, how long we can use this body, if you're old enough, how long we can use this body, and then, we look at the time where it starts to fail, yeah? Huh? This fails, that fails, and so on, yeah? Until the death, yeah? Or we take it apart, we cut off all these parts of the body and lay it out in front of us, yeah, and then see what is it, where is the body, yeah? You see only body parts, yeah? And then you put them together, yeah. If you do it correctly, or if you do it long enough, if you do it correctly, the sense of I disappears the moment all the body parts are out, yeah. You're disconnected, and then you put it back, yeah? And then the eye appears, and then you put it out, and the eye disappears, and then put it back, the eye appears, yeah? And you do it as long until the heart understands, that the body is something completely different from what sits here, and observes this, dissecting of the body. Until we get the idea, the body and the chitta are two different things. Once we get this idea, we go a little bit deeper into body investigation. We look for our super practice. Yeah? We look for the loathsomeness of the body. Why do we need to look for the loathsomeness of the body? Because all our life we are looking for beautiful things. Yeah? We were running after beautiful things. Looking for this, all our wishes, yeah. We don't look, when we saw a heap of shit on the street, we look the other way, yeah. We're always looking for nice, there's a beautiful flower, and it looks, yeah. And we don't see all the shit, that is opposite to the flower, yeah. That's what we did all our life, running after the good things, yeah. The nice simile, you have these German dachshund, they already look like a sausage on four legs. And you put you bind in front of the dachshund, you bind a sausage, yeah, and on his tail you bind some tin cans. Yeah? He's running after the sausage. He will never stop running after the sausage, and he will always run away from the tin can, because if he stops, yeah. The sausage is closed, and the noise is gone. Yeah? And that is us. Yeah? We're running after these beautiful things, constantly after these beautiful things, and running away from the unpleasant thing. And that's what we have to That's what we have to do with the investigation of the body. Going into the unpleasant thing, seeing the body, seeing the interior of the body, seeing, for what it is. Yeah? Because nobody wants to look at a body where there is no skin on it. Yeah? We don't want to look at it. Yeah? Some people even faint, when they see their own blood. Yeah? They don't want to see that. Yeah? When they see some accident, where one arm is there and one leg is there, they throw up. Yeah? They don't want to see this. Yeah? They don't want to see the mess that we are constantly in touch with. And so we have to we have to investigate that. Yeah? We have to look at it, yeah? And then, if you do it correctly, there is some hate coming up. There's some aggression coming up. So we can learn how to deal with hate, yeah? How to deal with aggression. Yeah? That normally comes up when we see somebody else doing something. Yeah? When he does it like this, that's not good. That's not good. I want it like this. Yeah? But this, comes. Yeah? It comes from our body, from our mental views. Yeah? And then we look at the body, and then we see, how this hate is coming up. Yeah? Because we don't want to see these things. Yeah? If you don't want to, this forms the forms of anger, forms of hate come up. Yeah? So be careful, not to let it out on your neighbor, on your colleagues. Yeah? See it. Yeah? That's how we learn how to deal with anger. Yeah? Anger arises, it is always, because of something that we see or something that we feel. Yeah? Something that we don't like. That's where the anger or where hate arises. We don't like something, so the anger comes up. Huh? So we learn how to deal with it. We just know it comes from thoughts, it comes from memories, it comes from seeing. It comes from feeling something. Yeah? And so we learn how to deal with it. Yeah? And then we see it. Yeah? We don't have to act. We don't have to act on our anger. Yeah? The easiest way is to get rid of it, to replace the thoughts or the visual image with something that is pleasant. And then it's gone. And then our greed comes up. When we see something pleasant, then our greed comes up. Eh? And so then we replace the greed, again with anger. We look at something that is unpleasant, and then our anger comes up. And then then we look at something pleasant, then our greed comes up. And then we change that. We change it until we understand. There's nothing to it. And that is the path to anagami, to somebody who is not born again. Okay. Do you have any questions? It's enough for today. The air is dry now. Do you have any questions? No question? Okay, then. I hope not too many. Huh?
Is it good to give to a non-virtuous person, for example, street people that use drugs or alcohol? I gave in the past many times, but now I sense that it has a bad effect, as like it were bad karma to give to a corrupt person. The same feeling when I give to help my Catholic parents. Like
to help what?
To help my Catholic parents.
Yeah.
Like giving design service in their corrupt church.
Uh-huh. Giving is always good, no matter to who you give. But the effects or the results of your giving, are dependent on the person you give to. If you give to a very virtuous person, the results, it's just like a bank, it has a lot higher interest. But any form of giving, there's no wrong giving. Giving is always good. But of course, you should help these people, because also, if you help the people, drug addicts, if you help them in a way, that means you're helping them, and also, when you're thrown later in one of your later lives, you're thrown in this situation, somebody comes and helps you, and that's what you want, So you help these persons. So I mean, always giving is always good. There's no negative effect, and you don't do any bad karma with it. Even if you know it is a corrupt church, yeah. But helping your parents is always good, yeah. You can't do anything better. I mean, you cannot change their views. You can change your views, yeah. If you see something, you don't have to donate to a corrupt church, yeah. But you can help your parents, yeah. And help people, on the street, even beggars, yeah. Even if we don't know, if they are virtuous or not virtuous. We really don't know. We don't know if these drug addicts, had a virtuous life in their previous, but, got hooked on something, yeah. We really don't know, yeah. So helping is always good, yeah. And if you help somebody, somebody will help you. If you're thrown into the mud, yeah, somebody comes and helps you. Yeah? But of course, the interest, what did the Lord Buddha say? I can't remember. What to give to a human being, no matter who it is, if it is unvirtuous, yeah, you get the results 10,000 times, or what? An animal, it is 100 times back, yeah? For a human being, it's 1,000 or 10,000 times, and if you give it to an arahant, it is indefinitely. Yes, of course, that's why the people in Thailand always like to give to arahants. They want to get it back indefinitely. But that doesn't help, if you're if you see a beggar, and there you see an arahant, and the beggar, is nearly starving, yeah, you run to the arahant. Then in the next life you're thrown as a beggar, and people always run to the arahant to give him food, yeah. But the arahant, of course, he will probably give you food. Yeah? Anyway, so next question.
I have this thing that I like video games, but I feel playing them is not worth the time, so I feel that I should not like them, but I feel this is not right. I noticed that I feel that they're fun, and so I thought if I could somehow change this feeling, I would be okay and there would be no problem, but I can't. I just feel that they're fun and I like them, and I've done this multiple times, or I just drop them and I don't play them for a while, then I come back and I see that I like them. I just like them and I don't know what to do about it. I have other things I have to do, study, for example, so on. Sometimes I'm so interested in them that I forget everything around me, forget to eat, don't want to go to sleep, and so on. They just seem to cause a headache, but I don't know how to stop being interested in them. What could I do to ease this interest in seeing the fun in them? Should I be concerned that I do something bad to myself by trying them?
It's just wasting time, like he said. He's wasting time, and he's getting sucked into more and more delusion. That is the problem with these video games, but it's also the problem with drugs. Yeah, I wouldn't. It's not the same thing, but it has a similar effect on the soul. You get more and more drawn into the delusion because you feel when you play a video game, you feel like being somebody. That's what we are as a human being. We are somebody, we can do certain things and it will have an effect. In a video game, it is the same thing. So he should look, when he plays this video game, he should be very aware of what he's doing, how his reaction. And then ask himself, stop for a moment and ask himself, all this excitement, is that something that I want? Yeah. And the more he asks these things, yeah, the more he asks, how is this excitement? Do I want this, the heartbeat is racing up, you're afraid of this, you're afraid of that. But that is what the normal people are looking for, excitement, because otherwise it is boring. Yeah? Life is very boring, if there is no excitement. And he has to study, he has to study Samadhi, yeah? He has to practice Samadhi, yeah? Only then will he get a grip on it. Only then will he get develop some wisdom about what he's doing. Why is he doing? Yeah, after he plays this game, he asks, "Why am I doing it?" Yeah? And then look for the answer. Why am I doing this? What is happening before I play the game? What is happening in my heart? Yeah? Am I afraid? Am I bored? Am I this? Am I that? How is the state? Before you do something, ask the heart. What is it like? Yeah. Am I running away from something? Yeah? Am I bored? Or am I frustrated? Or whatever. Look at the heart, and before you play the game, ask yourself. And then after, when you stop the game, do the same thing. Yeah? Ask yourself, how is my heart now? Huh? Has it changed anything? Is it just killing time? Yeah? We don't have so much time. Yeah? Time should be very precious. Yeah? So the only solution how he gets a grip on it is using reflection. Yeah, using before you do something. Look at the state of your heart. Or the mental state. And after doing something, look again at the mental state, and be honest with you. What is going on in my heart? But you have to have some sati for this. Yeah? You have to have some awareness. Yeah? If he is not aware, then nothing can help. But here he is aware. Otherwise, he wouldn't ask the question. Yeah? So he is aware of something. Yeah? So do some meditation, practice, practice for half an hour, or in the beginning 20 minutes, half an hour, yeah. Just be with the breath, or just be with the Buddha, and whatever thought comes up, replace it with the Buddha, yeah. That's probably the best thing that he can do, yeah. And then what he can do is, once he gets a little bit of practice, yeah, he can do it before he plays the game, yeah. He replaces the thoughts of wanting to play the game with Buddha. Yeah. Let's play Buddha. Yeah. Next question.
Is it better as a lay practitioner to live silently with the Buddha's teaching in the face of others' suffering if, one, they don't ask you for a Buddhist perspective, and or two, I haven't overcome the issue myself? Explains.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I mean, as long as you have not overcome a problem, as long as you have not gone out of the mud, you cannot explain other people how to get out of the mud. And yes, yeah. Don't try to teach others. Yeah. As long if they ask him. If they ask somebody, it was me, I never wanted to teach anyway. Yeah? So, but some people, were interested in what I'm doing, how is this, how is that, how do you practice this, how you practice that. Then I answered. Most of the time very, 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 very quickly, 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
I think in his example, he's saying that he's prompted to ask this because he's been feeling an increasing sense of helplessness and forced silence since.
He doesn't have to be silent. He can still talk about this or about that, about the weather, about how people are thinking. Yeah, but he doesn't have to teach them. Yeah, talking to people, it's fine. Yeah, he doesn't have to be silent. Yeah, that would be stupid. Yeah? The problem in the West is sometimes the thought, we feel how people suffer, yeah, and we want to help them, yeah, but we cannot help them because we have not overcome suffering, yeah, we have not overcome dukkha, so we really can't help them, yeah? But trying to help them, in a way that they don't need. What most of us do, yeah, in a way that they don't need it, or that they can't accept that help, yeah, makes us feel good, yeah, and that's actually what we want. We want to feel good. We are so empathetic, yeah. No, we are not. We are so egotistical, yeah. We only think about ourselves. Yeah? When we see a person suffering, we think about ourselves being suffering in that state, and we want to help that, yeah. There's hardly any empathy, in this world. Yeah. Everybody thinks about himself. We are really quite egotistical and selfish. Yeah? So he has to deal with this. Yeah, the best thing that he can do is practice. Yeah, until he sees, until he understands, Once he understands, once he has overcome certain things, then he can, if somebody asks him, then he can answer, But you shouldn't be silent, and communicate with people, but listening, It is much more important, If you want to help people, just open your ears and listen to what they say. And then ask certain questions. You don't have to tell about yourself. You don't have to teach them. Just listen to them. I mean, that is actually quite a good advice. Okay?
Last one. Does phenomena precede mind, or does the mind come first?
What is mind?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if he talks about the chitta, the pure chitta, then the pure chitta is always there. It has never disappeared. It has never appeared. The pure chitta is ever there. And then phenomena arise, and cease. So it's a pretty simple answer. But if he talks about mind, I don't know. I don't understand what he talks with mind. I mean, the chitta knows if there's an intention to think. The chitta knows if there's an intention to memorize. So the chitta knows before the intention arises, there's quiet. There's peacefulness, or there's stillness. And then something arises. So the chitta can observe, the arising and ceasing nature of all phenomena. I think that should explain everything. That is, No, the chitta is always there. We cannot destroy. We cannot destroy the chitta. But the chitta is not self, and the chitta is not the mind. Some people think the chitta is self. No, it is not self. In Thai, it is mind and heart. So emotions and rationality in one thing. But that is not the pure chitta. That is the defiled chitta that every one of us has, and every one of us thinks about it. This is self. Okay, so enough. Yeah.